Good morning. Good morning, guys. How are you? Welcome back to hashtag live 365. What's going on? Good to see you. Pop in the chat. How you doing on a scale of 1 to 10? This fine Tuesday, the 9th, I believe. Yeah, good to see you guys. Good morning, Yin. Always early. Good to see you. Yeah. Had a great day yesterday at the ground school event, day one. Vince Dudley, good to see you on Instagram. Congratulations on your win in wrestling. That was a proud moment for you and your dad and mom, I'm sure. So good for you, my friend. I never wrestled. Well, not legally anyway. Two brothers, we did a lot of wrestling. So, hey, Locke, what's going on? How are you? Good morning from Lakeland, Florida. This is Kevin Hawthorne. Good to see you on YouTube. Yeah, what is happening, guys? Good to see you. I'm going to talk today about building a culture of ownership. Yin's at 8 today. My back killing me. Need to stretch. Yeah, not bad for a back pain. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I had the L5, S1 stuff and L4, L5. Yeah, herniations. Good times. Yeah, good times. So, yeah, we got, I think Steve's going to join us today in a few minutes, so maybe 10 minutes or so. Bring him in and tip things upside down. But I wanted to talk today about building a culture of ownership. Good morning, Roy. This is day 6 of 10 on contractor leadership. But again, you can insert any word for a contractor. Good morning, Catherine Thomas. I want to talk about building that culture of ownership. When people take ownership, you stop managing problems and stop multiplying leaders. Good morning, Victor. Good to see you this morning. We miss you here at ground school. Yeah, most contractors spend their days chasing people, repeating instructions, fixing avoidable mistakes, cleaning up after everybody, putting out fires, micromanaging, re-explaining. I already told you that once. Staying frustrated. Good morning, Rachel. Good to see you. Not because they have bad people, but because they don't have a culture of ownership. People don't take things and own it. Okay. When you build that culture, everything changes, guys. Good morning, Jess. How are you? Yeah, your team will solve problems. Jobs are going to run smoother. Clients are happier. It's less stressful. You stop doing everyone else's job. Business might even become fun again. Okay. So ownership is one of the most valuable assets a contractor can develop. I always share, like back in my contractor days, because that's the pot I'm pulling from, guys. I had guys that would just show up and punch a clock. Show up late, nothing new after 2, whatever, no more after 4. They waited to be told what to do, didn't think ahead, didn't anticipate, wouldn't take initiative, responsibility, blamed others, did the minimum, right? I used to think, why won't they step up? What's wrong with these guys? But what I learned is that ownership isn't something that you hire. You don't hire somebody and they just take ownership. It's something that you build. Good morning, Johnny Wan. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, business can become fun again. Once I started communicating expectations clearly to people, once I modeled the behavior, once I empowered the people, once I got consistent myself, I watched guys transform from laborers into leaders. If you want your team to rise, give them the environment to rise. Okay? Ownership starts at the top. You go first. You show up late, people are going to show up late. You react emotionally, avoid accountability, make excuses, cut corners, don't follow through, don't communicate well, tolerate inconsistency, all of that stuff. Team's going to reflect that. They reflect their leader. Your ownership creates their ownership. Push out what you want to get back. Okay? Ownership requires clear lanes. People hate guessing. They don't like ambiguity. They hate unclear responsibility. Good morning, Dan Bennett. You must define who owns the job site, who owns materials, communication, updates, client interaction, cleanup, quality control. If everyone owns it, no one owns it. Remember that. Same goes with a task. If it's a task is assigned to more than one person, it's assigned to no one. Okay? Ownership grows when you empower, not control. Good morning, Luke McGee. Contractors often kill ownership with micromanagement. They don't trust anybody. Good morning, Tony. Micromanagement sounds like do it exactly my way. Just let me handle it. You're not ready for that yet. Leadership sounds like, hey, here's the outcome I want. You decide how to get there. Hey, Tony, you've got this. Luke, I trust you. Check in when you hit this point. Let me know what more you need from me. That's leadership. Ownership grows when people feel capable and trusted. And I'll take it a step further, when they feel like they can make a mistake and not have to pay for it with their job or get chastised for it. Okay. Ownership requires feedback, not finger pointing. When something goes wrong, most leaders attack. What happened? I can't believe you did that. Why'd you do that? What were you thinking? That's ridiculous. That stuff kills ownership, guys. Instead, say, hey, walk me through what happened here. What did we learn from it? Good morning, Bubba. How do we avoid this next time? What do you need from me to do this well? What could I have done differently to help you here? Right? That's ownership, and it thrives in environments where mistakes lead to growth, not shame. All right? Recognize ownership the moment you see it. When you see it in people, reward it. Okay? What gets rewarded gets repeated. Praise things like initiative and problem solving, proactive decisions, somebody taking on some things, pride on the job site, taking care of the client, stepping up, doing things that aren't asked. Say, hey, I saw how you handled that. That's leadership right there. I appreciate that. Thanks for what you do. Great job taking initiative on that issue, that problem. Boy, it really avoided some problems for us, saved us some money. Hey, thanks for staying ahead of that. I see you were out ahead of that. That's great. Ownership grows when people feel it's noticed and valued, okay? And it's built through standards and freedom. You hear me talk standards all the time. You create the container. Your team creates the execution. Your job is to set expectations, communicate standards, define outcomes, provide support, give feedback, all that owner stuff, right? Their job, the guys, the girls, people in the field, people executing, is to take responsibility, think ahead, solve problems, own the result. Ownership equals standards and autonomy. Okay, ownership equals standards plus autonomy. Okay, so ask yourself, do I model ownership or do I model excuses? Where am I micromanaging when I should be empowering? What responsibilities are unclear on my job sites? What don't people know? Where am I not helping them? Who on my team is ready for more ownership, but I'm holding them back? Because nobody does it like me. Okay, little challenge for you. Give one team member a sub, one clear ownership this week, one clear ownership area this week. Job site cleanliness, client communication, hey, setting up the trailer or whatever in the morning, daily progress report, daily logs, material inventory, staying out ahead of material so you don't have to run it around. Maybe it's a punch list, quality control checks. Yeah, Catherine, empower your team, give them clear direction, play to their strengths, okay? And then just reinforce it with feedback and recognition. It's not that hard, guys. It's not rocket science. Just treat them how you'd like to be treated, okay? Ownership transforms teams. Ownership transforms culture. Ownership transforms businesses. You got to have some ownership. You got to create an environment where people can step into that. When your people think like leaders, your business performs like a leader built it. Simple as that. Okay? So drop a fist pump in the chat if that landed with you at all today. I'm talking about creating a culture of ownership today, guys. Building it, because you don't hire for it, okay? You don't hire ownership. You guys are just popping in. You don't look around and pick the person off the shelf that's just going to conduct themselves and represent your business in a manner that, that's just perfect to you, okay? And one of the things I said yesterday when I was speaking at the ground school workshop that we have is that if someone's 80%, you hire somebody that's 80% of, geez, I'd like them to be up here, but they're really right here. Coach them the rest of the way. Coach them the rest of the way. Do you think you were everything someone wanted you to be when somebody hired you? Probably not. Gave you a shot. They gave you a seat at the table. Okay. Pay it back, pay it forward, whatever you want to say. All right. You ever have that moment in life where maybe somebody took a little shot on you? Somebody said, okay, I'm going to take a shot on this guy, see what happens. Good morning, Aaron Callie. I'm getting spammed from YouTube comments. I don't know why this morning. But good to see you guys here. I appreciate you guys that are sharing this. Thank you very much. Um, if you're building a culture of ownership, hit me with a fist pump or something like that. If you're spending your time putting out fires or fixing avoidable mistakes, chasing people, then this was for you today. If you're just getting here or watching it on the rewind, let me know what you think. Bubba takes shots at me every day, Dan said. That means he loves you. Yeah. Make sure that your team is solving problems. Okay. Team is going to run smoother. All right. You're not going to have to do everybody else's job when you start creating a culture of ownership. All right. And I love to share things with you guys that I wish I had done differently sooner. It would have made a big difference in where I ended up ultimately in contracting. Okay. I might have liked it more when it was tough. I might have stayed longer. I don't know if I'd done some of the things that I shared with you guys that I hope that you'll avoid doing. Maybe not step in some of the potholes that I did or have to waste money fixing things like I did because I didn't take on this culture of ownership. Okay. I don't think I was a micromanager, but I don't know that I developed a culture of ownership very well at times. I think sometimes I did, but it was more a function of maybe just getting lucky and hiring the right person. Yeah, core values help immensely with that. Who's got core values? Share a few of them in the chat if you don't mind. Yeah, pop in there and share a couple of core values. Zach Madrano, good to see you, my friend. And thank you for sharing this every day, Zach. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I appreciate all you guys that share this out. So we have a special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Rosenberg is here to join us. Steve, how are you?
Mr. Bob Turner, I feel like I just don't get to see you enough lately. I
know,
don't know.
right?
I need another day.
There you go. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I just got back from the gym, worked out already, ready for day 2 of ground school. So looking forward to that. So just doing the thing, man. Fighting the fight.
Doing the thing, fighting the fight. Well, we were just talking about creating a culture of ownership, and you don't really hire for it. You kind of have to create that and build it, and it just doesn't happen. It doesn't fall out of the sky, right? It's a lot. I know you've built teams in the past, and it's straight up work, isn't it?
It is. And I would say the culture of ownership, I would go a step further in becoming the leader that people want to follow, right? You build the culture, and the word cult, right, is the core of culture. But when you think of cults, what do cults do? They follow a leader. And if you look at some of the most, I don't want to say amazing leaders, but when you look at people who create these cults, right? Like, I mean, even as did it in a bad way, but Hitler created a cult, right? He created a nation of people to follow him. Martin Luther King, right? Gandhi, right? Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. They've created cult-like followings. But what were they all? They were all good leaders, and that leader was a good communicator. So creating that culture in your company or in your life, having, we saw it yesterday at ground school, all these people, right? They're inspired, they're following us. And so cultures can be used for good, and like Charles Manson, they could be used for bad. So culture is I think it's based on the leader. And are you someone that people will follow? Are you building something good, bad, or indifferent? Are you building something, whether it's your family, whether it's your a group? Those are all cultures, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we get that sometimes in the personal development and business development world. That somebody will join the coaching group, and which their spouse doesn't know much about it. They think they joined a cult. So I was glad to see that we had a few partners and spouses there yesterday. And it was good to just have them see how we pour in to the clients. And so I think some eyes got opened yesterday, don't you?
Yeah, I think that even if the spouse is not in the business, if the spouse is directly related to the success or failure of that business, meaning if the husband says, "Hey, we're going bankrupt, we're shutting this thing down," and the spouse, husband or spouse, whatever it is, says, "How are we going to pay our bills?" You're directly affected by that. So I think it's responsible for the spouse to at least, I'm not saying they got to be a part of the business, but I think it is responsible for the spouse or anyone who's at, we'll call them a stakeholder
Mm,
in the success or failure of that business, could be at least in the knowledge and in the know of what is going on. Because if they say like, "Oh man, I didn't really know what he did. I don't know. I didn't even realize he was in trouble." It's like, well, that's your fault. That's your
right.
fault for not being involved. Because I think we know, right? Most entrepreneurs, especially in our group, when they struggle, they're not struggling because they're lazy. They're not struggling because they're not working hard. They're not struggling because they're dumb. They're
Right.
struggling because of maybe an exterior force or maybe an interior mindset. But that's kind of what the stakeholder or spouse, to me, that's part of their partnership agreement, right?
Mm,
If you didn't want them to be involved in that business, it was, then you should have said, hey, this is not in alignment with our life.
right.
But when you let them go do that, you took on a responsibility also. And I don't think a lot of people think of it that way.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I've had kind of both ways, and we talked about that a little bit yesterday. But you gotta, if you got somebody that's in your life, you got to kind of dial them in. You got to deal them in, and they you know you have to share, and because it's a lot. The entrepreneurship lane, road, journey can be a lonely one at times, and things add up quick, and the weight goes on, and the shoulders shrug, and like I'll just
Yeah.
take on more, man. I'll just get up a little earlier. I'll just work a little harder than that other guy, and and you get in that cyclone or vortex or whatever, and you just kind of never get off the hamster wheel, right?
But I think also, Bob, unless you've been an entrepreneur that has fallen on tough times, right? Tough times, whether it's financial, mental, whether you just feel like you're not giving it your all, unless you've been that person and you lay your head down at the pillow at night, it's very lonely.
Mm,
And you and I know that, when you're
yeah,
in your own thoughts. And typically when times are tough, right? Let's just paint this picture. When times are tough and you're struggling and you're alone, you're not normally going to a good place in your head, right?
right.
We go to a bad place in our head. We go to that negative dark corners that, that we need someone to pull us out. And if no one's there to pull us out, that's kind of the start of that spiral. And
Yeah.
that's why community, that's why a culture of a community to bring you out to say, hey man, you're not alone. Like we understand this.
Yeah.
Because I think at times, sometimes we're too proud to ask for help, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes we're like, man, I don't want to seem weak. I don't want to let Bob down. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have talked to people that I coach. And I shouldn't say many times, but there's been times over the years that I've talked to people and they actually let their business go down, go sideways. And I'm like, why? I don't understand. Like, why? We've talked a lot. Why did you never bring this up? And they're like, well, you're busy, Steven. I didn't want you to think less of me. I'm like, I think less of you now because you didn't come to me.
Right.
And my thing is what did I do as a leader that made you feel that you couldn't come talk to me? Like
Mm,
that's part of who we are, right? The Rosenberg Group, that's our program. So
yeah.
why is it that you don't feel safe enough to go like, hey Bob, I have a challenge. I need to talk to someone. And
Mm,
I think that's, as entrepreneurs, we just assume that we should, like you said, we should shoulder it more. I'm just going to work harder. I'm going to take a different day. That's kind of, I mean, I think that, and maybe you agree or don't disagree, but I think as entrepreneurs, that's what we just feel is our responsibility to do.
yeah. And I think that it's critical to have that community, right? We were talking about that yesterday too. Is that coaching group? Whoop, they still get you. Oh, I thought I lost your
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, have that community, have that tribe, so to speak. Place, like I said yesterday. Hey, what happens here in the room stays here. Nobody's going out and talking about it. And if somebody wants to share something and we can help you, then great. And I never had that kind of environment. I know you probably didn't either when you were struggling to build your real estate company. And uh,
No,
you
no.
can,
And I mean, think about yesterday. Like let's just play out for those that weren't at the event. I think we can all agree. To me, the thing that stuck out the most was the guy who did not speak all day. He's speaking today, James Morris, when he was talking with Matthew
yeah,
about his two sons and how he
yeah,
he he would not. And he's very, very, James is a very, very successful person. and he said, I would never do it again. It wasn't worth it. And
Right.
that's not something you hear a lot. And it was,
Right.
I'll tell you what, man, my eyes kind of welled up just
Yeah.
listening to James's story. And I've known
Oh, yeah.
James for 20 years, but I didn't know that side of James's story. And
Yeah.
I don't know how you took that conversation, but it turned the room like, wow, like this guy's like saying, it's not fucking worth it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do, because most people, what do you always hear? I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was worth it.
Right.
That was totally different. What was your take on that yesterday?
Yeah, big time. And I think I kind of touched it off by sharing how I had always, even when I had stuff to do, I always made it a priority to pick up at daycare or drop off,
That's
or,
right.
and that, or go sit out in front of the dance studio and wait for an hour I took a whole graduate level course in nutrition, sitting out in front of the dance studio in my truck.
Yeah.
I do a chapter and do a workbook and take the quiz, and but I was there, and I could be, but it was, it was some long days, and I did some of that stuff while training for an Ironman, and my motto was never let them see me sweat, right, so to speak, which was, I
Sure.
might get up super early in the morning and do a ride, a long bike ride, but damn it, we were going to do whatever was on the schedule that day. It wasn't going to be, they weren't going to have to sacrifice because I needed to get my training in. So is there a balance? Yeah. I mean, you can say, well, hey, everything in life has a price, right? And I agree with that. But I think I was fortunately pretty in tune to that when I was, and it probably cost me a lot of money along the way, but I was okay with that. Probably, hey, I got to do this. I got to go look at this job, or I have to, hey, sorry, we can't do that on Saturday because I want to work and get ahead. But I think I really tried to, and like James says, I don't have that story that James has, which is I wouldn't do that again. I think I would have done it the same way, So it was sad in a way to hear him say that, because he has a different relationship with his older son than he does his younger son, and it's just the way it goes sometimes. So, but anyway, he now travels with him. The upside is they work in his company, so now you have a relationship as an adult, and you just go forward, So
yeah, I'm interested. I know he's speaking today about imposter syndrome, and I wonder if that's. I haven't heard his presentation. I know he wrote a book on it,
yeah,
but I'm wondering if that's kind of tied to his presentation of having imposter syndrome, of being this successful business owner. But I remember he said that he would go home to an empty home. There were people there,
yeah,
but it was empty. For someone who travels, I get that. I can understand that feeling.
yeah,
When you're busting ass, you're doing all this stuff. I remember one of my mentors told me, he said, Steve, kids spell love Time. That's the only thing they know.
right,
They just want to spend time with you.
yeah,
And again, I tried, with my son Jet before he passed away. But there's never enough, right?
yeah,
Obviously. So
yeah,
it's just, again, I guess where I'm going with this is this wasn't a rah fight everyone, kick ass, be a badass. Like that's not what my program is about. My program is about becoming the person you need to become. And you've heard me talk about this a lot, where the future you is waiting to meet you,
yeah,
but they're hiding behind fear and doubt. And you
right,
have to push through fear, you have to push through doubt to meet that future version of you. And sadly, some people never meet that future version of themselves.
yeah,
Like the future version of you being a coach. If you would have stayed being a contractor, and there's nothing wrong with staying, you would have never met the person you are today,
sure,
right? And
exactly,
who's the person of you 5 years, 10 years from now? Who is that person?
yeah, yeah.
It's an interesting thought.
The evolutions are exciting and fun, and you gotta have the courage to step into it and go through it, as it can be a bumpy road. But yeah, for sure, it's I don't feel like, I've never felt like I'm done yet, and I know you feel the same way. So, but well, hey, we got some shit to do today. So,
We
um,
do. We do. A couple of notes. Since we've got people on here, we got some for anyone that we've worked with that is on JobTread. I would love to get a review for Bob and I. So JobTread is throwing out these reviews. If we have worked with you, that would be a personal favor. Bob, maybe you can explain the marketplace or whatever. But I think getting more people to know about us would be
Yeah,
amazing,
so
and I would
JobTread
real
has about
appreciative.
8,500 or 9,000 clients, and they're all on their software. But if you have JobTread software, you can access the marketplace, and we're listed as a marketplace. I don't know if you want to call it an affiliate or member or a partner, marketplace partner, I think. And so, and several other coaching companies are as well. And so, inside the community, it does a number of things for us that people can go in and leave a review. So if you use JobTread and you've worked with Steve and I, hop on a marketplace and pop a review in there. We would certainly appreciate it. So yeah, that's awesome. I wasn't aware that you could even do that. So we just learned that yesterday.
I wasn't either until Larry and Melinda White gave us a review on JobTread, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like I just got a review. I didn't even know. And then Eric Fortenberry reached out to me.
Yeah.
He said, hey man, you've got a lot of clients on JobTread. You should, you should have them reach out. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
The other thing I was going to say is for anyone interested, I'm starting to do kind of the opposite of Bob. Bob does it in the morning. I'm going to start doing it in the evening. But I'm going to be doing a webinar tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. And it's going to be on how to run your business the way airlines run. So I'm going to talk about the systemization. I think the link is somewhere. If not, I can throw it in. But
on my page, it's on the Summit page. It's on. We'll have it everywhere for you guys.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to learn how to run their business like an airline from an airline pilot perspective, I'm going to go into the ideology and the training that we get that you can actually implement into your business. So this is completely free. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to give value because I think a lot of people, I've heard operations and systems is something a lot of people have a bit of chaos in. And if I can help give you a perspective, the way, you look at an airplane, you look at and I'm going to explain what actually happens at an airport and how you could implement that in your business so that it can run on systems, checklists, and processes, not chaos and mayhem, which is, let's face it, what most businesses run off of these days.
Yeah. Locke said 7 p.m. Central tomorrow, Wednesday. Yes, sir. I'm trying to pop the link in right now. Also, good morning, Eric Fortenberry. It seems like every time we talk about him, he shows up. So
his ears wiggle.
The marketplace reviews are brand new, so I don't feel quite as dumb. So,
yeah, no, it's a great. I tell you what, it's a great that JobTread platform. If you guys are not on it, you guys are missing out on technology. I think at the end of the day, technology and being up on technology. I had the opportunity, and Bob, Eric gave us a grand tour of his facility. I mean, you want to talk about top notch, and you could see there's a reason why JobTread is leading the pack in innovation and technology and customer service. I mean, I felt like I was at like a mini Google. I guess that's the way to put it. I've been to the Google campus and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, there's a lot of remnants of the thought process. So, I mean, Eric's obviously a genius at what he does. And if you want a tool and JobTread is a tool to accelerate your business, get on the rails, get on the train, in my opinion would be talk to the people at JobTread and really see how they can help you with your business, because without a doubt, they are going to be the 800-pound gorilla in this industry. There's no doubt in my mind. I've been around long enough to see the indicators of who is going to be that person, and they have all the markings of a successful model.
Yep, 100%. And oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. We'll be at JobTread Connect January 14th through 16th. So guy Steve's going to be speaking a couple times. We'll have a booth set up. We were talking with Jubal and Lindy yesterday. I think they're going to come out to JobTread Connect. So he's funny. So you think I should be there? I said, bring Rose, your JobTread lead in your office, but you should come as well. So Mark Bunker says he's going to pull the trigger on JobTread. Been kicking this down the road too long.
You should, Mark.
100%. And we're going to get Eric in for one of our Rosenberg Group weekly group coaching calls soon. Hopefully between now and Connect. He's a busy guy, but we're going to try to get him on. and get you guys teed up, and also do some job tread training inside our coaching community. So we're on it, and Eric is stoking the fire with us. So we're excited about that. Good morning, Craig. Good to see you here. Mark Bunker from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Good to see you. Love it when you come on. So yeah, Craig, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. So what else? Any place else we're going to be? What's going on before we wrap this up and I get down and eat some crappy eggs from the buffet?
Let me see here.
Actually, they're pretty good.
What do we have? I know we have Techno Block. We're going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. And by the way, you don't know this, but I was talking with Richard about maybe actually I'll give Eric Fortenberry credit, because Eric was the one that was talking about us doing a 1-day type workshop boot camp, tacking it on and kind of doing a 1-day summit instead of my 2-day in different cities. So I think we're going to try our first one with Richard at Techno Block in Raleigh, North Carolina. Richard said he can fill the room. So we will see. I told Richard, challenge accepted. You fill the room. I will pour myself into them for 1 day, and nice. I will give the value. So we may be spending an extra day, or I may be spending an extra day in Raleigh, doing a 1-day summit of just kind of pouring in systemization, mindset, marketing, that kind of stuff.
There you go.
So we'll see. So that's kind of on the books for 2026. We're going to kind of take our show on the road. Hopefully we can do more with Job Tread, doing stuff with them, be in other cities and kind of really run the gamut. So we've got some things in the works. Jason Cisneros is interested in having some conversations with us as well. So we've got some pretty big players in our corner.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, Steve, I appreciate it. I know we got to get headed toward the venue. We got some stuff to do to prep when we get there. But today's day 2 of our ground school event. Guys, if you're interested and think we might be able to help you with coaching in some way, let's at least have a conversation. Hit up Steve, hit up myself.
Yeah,
we'll chat. If you got something going on, let's chat about it. The people that are in our community are knocking it out of the park. They're liking their businesses again.
They're dude. I tell you what, man, real quick. You're sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I will. But I tell you what, man, it is impressive just to hear the stats of some of these people that were here yesterday of how they're just crushing.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, right? Dan Bennett is a great example. Dan Bennett was on the ropes, right? And just not financially, but mentally, he was struggling. And you and I have poured into him. You've taken his brother under your wing. So nice of you.
If you don't hear from me for a week or so, send help.
Yeah. But Dan, I tell you what, it is awesome. I love hearing these stories of these guys. It is awesome.
Yeah.
It just means a lot that you and I and the whole team, Bubba, Richard, everybody, Valerie, they were able to do this and really crush their goals and just, man, it's just a good feeling, man. It really is. That's all I could say.
Good stuff. Good to be a part of. Guys, check out the webinar tomorrow night, 7 Central. Steve's going to tell you how to run your business like an airline, and Bubba says it, but it better not be like they ran it on Sunday.
Wrong airline.
You got wrong airline, right? Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate it. Eric Fortenberry, thank you for being here and your support. Steve, good catch up, and I'll see you shortly. Guys, go do something nice for somebody today. Help somebody out, and kind of come from a place of service. Like, try to remember that and build a culture of leadership and ownership into your business, and you'll be way ahead. So, guys, thank you. Steve, I appreciate you. We'll see you here in a little bit. Take care, guys.
All right. Take care. We'll see you.
Yeah. Bye.